You play with it? Which one? The
You know, it would have been Microsoft. No. You're going to laugh at me. Okay. I'm going to look stupid. What's that? DuckDuckGo?
Yeah, DuckDuckGo is an older one. That's like,
And it's got AI now.
oh, that's just got an AI feature.
You can do your searches. You can do searches via AI.
I mean, I think DuckDuckGo is just basically Tor wrap around for Tor, right? It goes out and hides what you're going, so you can't see what you're searching, right?
Yeah, I got on there because I thought that you hear my theory my theory on this, that you don't know this. My theory on this is I know they got my everything. And I don't ever want them to have my everything with my permission. So I do my best to not give them permission to look at anything.
So James, you have a podcast. You're talking about the government. You got an FBI file.
Oh, I know that. Good morning, guys.
Good morning,
Good
James.
morning,
How are
Terry.
you?
Good morning.
Wouldn't say so many personal things in the green room. The green room talk might be better than the podcast, but he says appropriate things and we can't use it. There's a smile on. Good morning, guys. Good morning, listeners. I got to tell you, I'm going to believe this technology boom when I don't have to mow the lawn anymore. Last night, I mowed it. My clothes were so wet, it looked like I was in a swimming pool. Something simple as mowing the yard.
Well, just this time in Louisiana, that's what's going to happen.
You know, you're going to think twice. You probably needed to mow the yard. You need to sweat all those toxins out.
By the way, Charlotte's here today. She's looking like Roy Orbison.
Which no one but these old people remember.
Pretty woman.
Anyway, you know, was robotics involved in her surgery?
Most likely.
Yeah.
Probably.
Part of it is, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Cadillac surgery. Rinky Cadillac. Yeah.
Cadillac because it costs like a Cadillac, or Cadillac because it sounds like Cadillac?
Sounds. And cost. Yeah, both. Anyway.
But anyway, she woke up this morning and said, it's weird. I could see she hadn't put her glasses on yet, and she could see. She said, oh, that's strange.
Yeah.
Wait, she didn't run when she saw you then?
What's that?
She didn't run when she saw you?
Oh, I know. I made that joke. I said, I'm sure that's the oldest joke there is for old people. But yeah, I told her, I said, this is a defining moment in our relationship. She's going to actually know what I look like.
Yeah, there you go. Wait till the second one.
I saw a card.
Anyway.
I saw a card that says, I'm going to love you till we'll be friends until I'm old and senile, and then we'll be friends again.
I forgot what she did yesterday. All right, so I'm going to tie these two together. They give me these topics, and I try to link them. This one was thrown in by Dwayne at the very end. That what do we need? What do we need loan officers for? We'll be able to have AI loan officers, and then I'm going to tie that with Mega Hitler.
And AI.
No, Mega Hitler.
Mega Hitler.
They combine those two topics and tell me that's not scary. Oh, you're a Jew. No loan for you. No soup for you. Oh, you have a gun. No soup for you.
I like soup. Anyway.
I can't believe we just doing soup Nazi in there.
No soup for you. No.
Go ahead.
No soup for you.
No podcast until we have a pop culture reference. And so I took care of it early. Anyway, you don't find that scary? There's going to be these people out there that create these policies that you don't even have to make it visible. It's just out there. Oh, he lives on that side of town? I don't think so. You're not getting this loan.
They're doing
all the loan officer is doing now is just taking your information.
Oh, you've been looking at midget porn. I don't think we need to have you. All these Mega Hitler things, man. That's kind of scary to me. I'd kind of like a human to look at it.
Well, here's a prediction Scott Adams had. He says, as AI gets closer to doing the things you just talked about, there'll be different associations and different groups that make it illegal to do that. So whatever your If you're like a loan officer association, you'll say, no, this can't be, they can't do it right. We need to make this illegal. A human has to look at it.
Well, I don't want to make it illegal. I don't want to go there, but I would say
That's what they'll do. That's his prediction. And I'm
all right. So
pretty
what
much
I
on
want to
board
know
with that.
is, so Mark says that they're come up with this idea of if you turn in a paper at tech, they can send it through the AI detector and go, you cheated.
Right.
Okay. So is there going to be a way I can send whatever the loan officer did to determine whether or not I get the loan? Oh, you AI did this, and you made him out to be Mega Hitler, because that's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about this hallucinating, and they're coming up with this idea that I'm somebody I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, that's concerning to me, right, too. But that happens with humans right now. I mean, I had management people who happened to have a higher melatonin content in their skin that were trying to get apartments, all sorts of things. And they would call and talk to the, whoever was renting it, and it was no problem. Yeah, come on by. Yeah, they were very excited until they saw him. Then they said, no, I'm sorry. We already rented it. Have it over and over and over.
Do you know that when I was at LSU, getting ready to take the bar, there were articles out that the Louisiana bar, the way they did it, they could tell by the language use that they were from Southern and that they were flunking people based on those things. I never did believe that. I don't think that anybody I know would ever think that black people shouldn't be lawyers. I don't know anybody who thinks. But that was the accusation.
They may not think it, but what do they do?
Well, I mean here's the thing.
I'm just saying that humans do what you just said.
Exam, and if you don't go through 3 hard years like Mark's daughter's getting ready to go through, you're going to flunk that bar. You better, every day you're in law school, say, if I don't learn this today, I'm going to have to learn it in the cram situation for the bar. And I don't think Southern University was preparing them, at least at the time. I don't know about what they're doing now. They didn't have them ready. Black and white were flunking,
Well, that's why you have a standardized test. You don't have you get out of this university, you have a law degree, right?
Yeah, but
you have something, you've got to meet a certain level of knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
It's independent of the organization.
And mostly the bar is, it does have some, apparently it does have an objective side to it, or, multiple choice, but they didn't have it when I was there. But my point is that you can't cram for that exam, really. It takes time, and it takes a lot of work. And so I think they were using that as an excuse. This is why Southern flunking more than LSU. All I know is the people that I knew that were going to Southern didn't have to spend near as much time studying as I did. Maybe they were smarter than I was. All right, so let's get on to technology on that. Where I'm going with that is, don't you see what I'm getting at? If they can, if Grok can have Mega Hitler, and we have these AI agents, there could be out there with these computers are rejecting people for loans, and humans don't even know why, and they could think I'm Mega Hitler.
Yeah.
So we need to go back a second.
I think we have a natural counter to that. And Mark, the futurist, has said many times, this English version of programming, like vibe coding, is going to make it where the regular person can set up these internet-based companies and compete with services that don't do that. So the entry level bar is becoming lower. And if you want to put up barriers to have, this Mega Hitler, there's just going to be, there is no Berlin Wall. You put a Berlin Wall up, there's holes in it.
I want to touch base on this Mega Hitler thing for just a second. So the problem is that the content is in the large language models. They all have bad content, but they're filtering the content with that somehow in the engine. They're filtering for what's not right. And that apparently went a little haywire right before they upgraded Grok 4.
Yeah.
And so, if you don't have the controls in place for controlling that, I mean, they're training this stuff on data that's on the internet, and not all that, believe it or not everything on the internet's true, James. It's just I
got you. And I want to say this. Both of you make very good points. And in fact, all three of you do. I told Charlotte on the way here, I enjoy this day because I'm in with three people much smarter than I am. But what Dwayne said fits this dull man's mind. That's right. There is going to be somebody out there that's going to get onto those computers, pick out that this is happening. They're going to see trends as who is and who is not getting the loans. And it's going to say, we can compete with this. And I'm going to tell you this. Marion State Bank is a big bank now. It used to be a tiny little bank in Marion. They saw a market that this level between bums and between the elite right there is this group of people who pay back loans. And you know, one of the things they looked at, do you take your dog to a groomer? People who take dogs to groomers pay their bills. They came up with a way to know who was going to pay it back. They came, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying he's dead now, the guy that did this, but that bank grew because they were making loans that those big banks wouldn't make.
Yeah. Well, you know, this brings back question
at a higher rate. I'm sorry, go ahead.
This brings to question something bigger, right? I mean, what's the only company in the world, or the only company where it's legal to discriminate? Insurance, right? If you smoke, you pay more, right? That's discrimination. I'm just saying. I'm not going to.
Well, the military as well.
But I'm saying, what's to prevent some of these other companies from doing that? You know, that now they can do that with AI.
You see, I don't have any problem with discriminating against people. If you're a racist, I'm fine with that. I really am. I think I won't do business with you, but I don't have a problem with someone saying, hey, I'm only going to lend to white people. If they do that, they do that. That's, to me, all right, that's to me why I say it's that way is that I'm a big baseball fan. And I can tell you that integrating that took place, not because the government got involved. The government said, no, we're not going to get involved. We're going to let it go. And Branch Rickey said, you know what? We can't beat the Yankees with these white guys. We can't with these black guys. And he brought them in and he beat the Yankees. That's how you get rid of racism. That's how you do it. And you know what? The Yankees go, we better get us some black guys. That's how it happened. And then the next thing you know, it's blacks can play baseball. It's because they could play baseball is why they could. So I think if you could pay back your loan and you're black, somebody's going to lend to you.
Yeah, I agree with that. That also brings to light. I mean, you can't. I've seen this in many other. You can't litigate or force righteousness. You can't. People do it out of the right purposes,
right?
Or
it never works,
or it doesn't work. Yeah.
Yep. It never, ever, ever has worked in history, from what I can tell. It's never. Even the most powerful man that's ever lived, Augustus Julius Caesar, not Julius himself, but Augustus Caesar, tried it. And nobody's ever been more powerful in the world than he was when he was in his heyday, and he could not. Even his own daughter would violate. You can't do it. You can't regulate morals. That's why you hear me keep saying stop doing it. I don't think we should be banning porn. Someone's wanting to get rid of Pornhub or something in Louisiana. No. If someone wants to put their mind there, let them go. Anyway, well, let's talk about that next thing. Rizzing. You introduced a new topic to me.
Rizzing. That's right. Rizzing. Rizzing.
Tell me about it.
Flirting.
Should I be rizzing or should I stick with what I'm doing?
You're the anti-Riz, James. I'm sorry. Anyway, you don't know it yet, but you're anti-Riz.
Anti-Riz. Tell me what it is.
So, let's just talk. The rizzing came about because the article that people were using Gen AI to say, what do I say to this good-looking girl? And then they go on the actual date, and guess what? They're not that exciting. So they got the date, but then it was a massive fail because they couldn't. The dog caught the mail truck, but what could you do with it, right?
All right. So I wanted to know. It would be interesting if it ever got this good that you could have AI at a deposition and you have a earpiece like Kamala had during the debates, and you have an earpiece, and so you're taking the deposition. Hey, ask this question. So, you see what I'm saying?
And then her AI.
What's the law about advising them real time during a deposition? I don't know.
None. There's no law against it. What I want to know is, but right now I don't know how well that would work. It's listening. It would have to learn to listen to their question, their answer, and then say, okay, what's the next question? You see what I'm saying?
James,
it would be legal to be. It would be legal for me to do it in court.
I guarantee you somebody in the U.S. is already using it today.
To do that.
Yeah.
You tell me how to do that then. I'm not stupid. I would know if the question was dumb. I would do it. I would like to have it. I got to stay up in this. I will tell you that the big thing that it's done right now, MedMal, is it makes it much easier for the plaintiff attorneys to compete with the defense attorneys because we're able to come up with articles. In fact, Dwayne helped me for the trial. One of the trials I'm working on, he came up with an article using that. I don't know. He said, you got that one without it, though, didn't you? You can't. Yeah, that's not a good example. He found it on his own.
Actual intelligence, the different AI.
You know what I think I need to do? I need to include Mark in that group that helps me with this trial. Then I'll have 3 people that are smarter than I am helping me. It's been a wild ride. I mean, it's amazing how much their knowledge base helps us. Okay. Now with that, there's job losses with this AI that you talk about.
A lot of job losses being announced. Still a lot of job losses being announced. Some they're saying from over hiring during COVID, but I think a lot of it is just AI. They're realizing what AI can do, and boom, it's taking out jobs.
Yes, you know, I the other day you would have had to hire a paralegal to do this, and it would have taken 2 or 3 days. I wanted to take out of a deposition everything that supported or went against my position, and things that I wouldn't even have thought supported it. I got it, and I went. It took 22 seconds. It tells you how long it's thinking. 22 seconds. It gave me back the results and 2 of the things I would not have thought about. I didn't think of that. Oh, that's a good idea. And it'll even tell you, well, this is moderately supportive. This is, it's going to replace a lot of people.
I don't know if this NASA layoff is part of that or not.
Well,
I would ask you what you guys thought about that.
I think it's becoming archaic. I think it's becoming an artifact. What do you call it? What is it? Or what is it when it's a thing of the past? I don't think government can't compete with free enterprise once free enterprise decides to compete. That's it. It's not.
We're not looking at 60s. Was led to compete. A lot of NASA's monopoly on space travel is why they were where they're at. So I think it's a natural
evolution.
There's a lot of bureaucracy that wasn't needed, so they got rid of it.
Should go to the Department of Defense and say, what can we use out of these things? That's what I think. I think NASA is a relic. That's the word I was looking for. The relic. It's done. Thank you for your fake moon landing. No.
Don't laugh too much, Chad. We may find out. You never know. Yeah.
Charlotte's turning on the light.
Turn on the light, Charlotte. All right, we got the Conspiracy Friday light on. Yay.
Okay, so I want to go. I want to remind you guys that I have a banker who's promised me he will keep me up on, and I can't tell you who it is. He'll keep me up on what banks are doing. And let me tell you something. I'm not going to give away who he is, but he is known for going to companies that's getting ready to clean house. And
you just eliminated 50% of the people right there.
Huh?
You just eliminated 50% of the people right there with your tip.
What do you mean?
I know a guy.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people in the banking industry. A lot.
Okay.
A lot. I mean, a lot. You would be surprised.
Okay, now you just eliminated another 20% or 30% because they're doing only in banking.
He probably wouldn't care if I said his name. He just had to give me permission. But 3/5, he's saying, is gone from the banking industry.
I believe that.
Because
the problem with banks is
because they're going to have, what do you call them, those agents? What do you call them?
Agents, AI agents.
Yeah, he said you're not even going to be able to tell you're talking to an agent.
Well, Google apparently hates radiologists the most.
Yes. All right, I want to. All right. Yes.
They're destroying an industry single-handed just to test something. Yeah.
But not the technicians, though.
No, not the technicians. They still have to take the X-rays and MRIs, CAT scans, see all that stuff.
Here's a little tidbit. Mike Rowe was talking about this recently at Aspen's conference. And, they were saying all this AI is coming for coders and all this. What they're not coming for, he says, are plumbers, seam fitters, pipe fitters, HVAC, and electricians. He says there's a huge deficit in those jobs right now.
Until humanoids come along.
Well,
it's going to take quite a while for robots to be able to perform plumbing and pipe fitting.
And electricians as well.
Yeah.
I think. It's a 10-year window, in my opinion, but it's just
10 years is forever. I mean, heck, I'll be 76. Charlotte says we're not having a humanoid in the house. She's made it clear. She'll have an R2D2, but no humanoid.
I don't
you're
believe
breaking
that for a
up.
second.
All right. Well, let me.
Those jobs are going to be hard to replicate with AI.
I want to step back though. We got too far off. We got too far off. This is me as the moderator. We're going back to Dwayne and the radiologist. I know what you mean, but explain what you mean to the listeners.
All right. So Google has had agent AI where you can upload your radiology images and it would scan them and tell you if it saw problems, anomalies, and what it saw. And it's rating that they run.
We lost him. Well, can one of you two fill in while he's lost? All right, you're back.
Radiology needs. It's
Dwayne. We lost you.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Now we can.
One of you guys fill in. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
I hear you. We hear you now. Try if you drop down now. I'll let Mark finish or Glenn.
Well, so what he's alluding to is they're using AI to find, let's do a better job of anomaly recognition or problem recognition in the radiology X-rays than humans. So they have these programs says this is what a normal lung looks like, and if it doesn't look like a normal lung, it's going to spot it out, and it does a better job than a human does.
Okay, and so
classic anomaly detection thing, yeah.
It'll take a while. Just me saying this. All right, and the other thing is this: you said there was a surgery that was done on a gallbladder that was assisted by.
It was assisted. It was assisted by someone, but that I could see because the computer or the robot or laser is going to be a whole lot better guided, mechanically with an arm than with a person that's got it that didn't get his coffee that morning. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, that's what Charlotte said. She bought her surgeon coffee. All right. So now here's the thing that I'm getting at. That right now, if someone came to Ruston and got into Uber or whatever, they don't have Uber here, whatever they have here, and you had a Tesla that really just drove you around. He was sitting in the spot. He was sitting in the driver's seat, but Tesla was driving it across town. Eventually, that driver's gone.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to be long till the technician's going to say, sit right here and be still. Look at the mushrooms. Don't move. And in comes I guess, you still at this point, you have to put the gas guy is going to be human, but then sit there and it's going to do the surgery itself. It's going to be someone like you or Dwayne watching it.
Yeah. Just a matter of time. It's the worst it's ever going to be right now.
There you go. All right. So we know that people who have an aptitude to do electricity and plumbing and those type of things are still going to have jobs. There's going to be smart people that are losing their jobs. They're going to go somewhere. Where are they going?
I'm going to tell it to you like the IBM exec said, 80% of the jobs tomorrow don't exist today.
But that's always kind of been that way. Where's the horseshoe guy? He's gone.
Well, yeah, but there's still guys shoeing horses, and there's more horses now than there's ever been.
Well, but that went away. There was a time you had to have them. But blacksmith was, in fact, one of the movies about Wyatt Earp. In fact, the one called Wyatt Earp. He was trying to decide. Wyatt Earp was trying to decide what he was going to do for a living, and his brother-in-law was a horseshoe guy. What do you call those people? Blacksmith.
Cobbler.
Huh?
No, not cobbler. I'm sorry. They call him something else, farrier or something like that. No, the farrier or something. If you're putting on horseshoes, blacksmiths made the horseshoe.
Okay, well, that's what he was. Anyway, so Wyatt Earp says, well, I'm going to go study law. And they kind of giggled a little bit. And one of them said, well, not everybody has the aptitude to be a farrier or whatever it is. And so a lawyer was considered lower in that family because that other skill was more important. So what I'm getting at is that I mean this. People who have the ability to study so hard to get in medical school and then become a radiologist and then they get put out by a computer, trust me, they're going to figure something out. They're going to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And again, I want to say this, Mark, and I'm not Dwayne's back. I want to make sure you know that I'm not saying that AI isn't going to keep getting better. I agree. It's as bad as it's going to be right now. But still, this Grok 4 cannot handle complex, multi evidence factors. It can't do it. You got to
So James, let me point this out. There's a lot of lawyers that can't handle that.
Oh, no question. I definitely can't tell you who I talked to recently. I can tell you I was talking to a lawyer. I could tell he could not do what I'm doing.
So the advanced stuff is just not going to be taken out. If you're a specialist, they're not going to take that out, because that you have more experience and context than AI will have.
Well, that makes me have comfort, especially since I'm old. All right, so
but the bad part, the downside to that is that the easy stuff, they're only going to come to you with hard stuff.
Oh,
and the easy stuff goes away.
I know. The other day, we have a lawyer in our office who does transaction work, and he is old too. So he realizes that it's probably on his way out, but he's riding that horse on the way out. He understands, though, if he lives to 120, he's not going to be there. But he did something, and I'd never heard of it before. And I fed that sucker into AI and asked about it. And I can't say he missed anything, but it made some wording suggestions that I understood. I went, oh, and I called him and said, hey, what about this here? That's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? It's going to replace those guys. And he says it. He knows that. He absolutely knows it.
Well, sure.
He does. All right. So the upside of it is that gallbladder surgeries are probably going to get better if you got to have a gallbladder surgery. But the downside of that is I make my living on people making mistakes in gallbladder.
Well, I told you my theory that they're going to come up with better psychedelics so people can always make better mistakes.
All right, humanoid market.
So you're going to stay in the business forever.
Interesting when you brought up Mark. Humanoid market. You say it's getting ready to.
It's out. It's like the word that Elon Musk used, and I believe it's true. Is the market is insatiable. The prediction is, I think the number is 2.93 billion in 2025, going up to 243 billion in 2035. In 10 years, 100-fold increase.
All right. So are we all going to have a humanoid?
It's going to be legal, guilt-free slavery.
Yeah,
that's right.
You know, it's fun.
We have to talk about the social implications of everybody having robots and AI at some point here. Because if you got a robot that does everything you want, you're not going to be a whole lot pleasant to other people that don't do everything you want.
That's right. You know, it's already every now and then, because I'm dealing with Grok 4, and I think the biggest upgrade on Grok 4 is that it feels like you're talking to a human. That's the big update. All right. So I'm asking verbally. In this one time, I was on my iPad, and I verbally said, I'm going to do what Dwayne said. I'm going to try to do it verbally. I asked it to do something, and I said, if you don't mind. I was asking a computer.
It's funny
as long as it didn't respond by starting off the response with what? Oh man, you just made me forget. What's the one that's so irritating when somebody says, to be honest? Yeah. As long as it didn't respond with to be honest.
To be honest, no. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's funny you should say, you said some colloquialism, local, but people are saying thank you and all these things to the end. And I was reading an article how that extra non-important commentary is causing 10% of the extra AI generation energy cost.
So stop doing it.
Yeah. So stop being polite.
Yeah. But listen, I know how much work it would be to do it myself, and I'm appreciative.
I found that the AIs are better when you say thank you.
So there's a word, it's called sycophancy. I believe it is sycophancy.
Yeah.
I mean, the longer you work with it, the more favorable it responds and gives you answers that you want to hear, whether it's true or not.
Yeah, I know. It also hallucinates more. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I mean, I do my best to say I need you to be honest with me. Don't say what I want to hear, because it does do that.
I want to jump in for just a quick minute. There are two ladies that I work with on campus, and we almost have a shorthand in the way we communicate with each other by email. And it's very abrupt, but we're the best of friends. But it's very efficient communication, and it doesn't take a lot of time. And so what you're saying is the same economy of energy that we have when we're dealing with people that we are very comfortable and cozy with is what we should do with AI to conserve energy.
Conserve energy, yeah, to conserve power. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That is interesting. All right, so we're going to run out of time here with.
I know. I'm about to have to run.
Can you answer real quick? Cryptocurrency. Can you at least set us in the right direction?
Crypto Bitcoin hit 122,000 this week. That's 100% more than it was the same time last year. So in other words, if you had $1,000 invested in Bitcoin last year, you now have $2,000 in just 1 year's time. So if you're not an investor, just let me tell you, that's a very good return on your money.
Wow. I know you got to go, buddy.
We have to talk more about crypto because there's a lot of really good trends that they're pointing. I mean, they're expecting crypto. This again, put the disclaimer that everything we say, it's like the market's likely to do just the opposite because that's true. We have no prognostication capabilities, but
we're no better than that guy on CNBC. What's his name?
We're better than him because we'll pick 50%. He won't. Anyway,
but there's a lot of wins that are pointing toward Bitcoin going up its high as double what it is right now, which is scary. Because it's a device that makes no income, it generates no dividends, but yet it's still going up in value. But we can talk more about that.
Yeah.
Next call.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, gentlemen. See ya.
See ya.
Adios.
So here's what I do want to talk about this with Mark, but since the topic is up on the floor at this point, you remember I mentioned this a lot. There was a commentator that called Enron before it happened. Charlotte and I remember it. We talk about it all the time. You know who it was? It was a speechwriter for Ronald Reagan. Before Enron fell, she wrote several articles about Enron and said, I can't tell what they're doing. What do they do for a living? I say, if you can't tell me in 3 or 4 sentences what Enron does for a living, you shouldn't be invested in it. I, for the life of me, can't tell you why Bitcoin has value other than people value it. Remember that?
Think of it this way. All money is a ledger. And who controls the ledger controls the money. So banks, the Fed, they control the ledgers. So Bitcoin is a distributed ledger. And therefore, that's what people are fighting. They're fighting, because I think you've even had that experience. They just take your money at some point. Whereas Bitcoin, like cash, is a distributed ledger with smart contracts. So I don't think we really are thinking through that money, just what Mark said before he left, that's our fiat currency system right now.
What is?
It doesn't make interest. There's nothing backing it.
Our dollars?
Yeah.
All right. So I think I maybe got you. It's a good bank.
Yeah.
And it gets good interest while you're storing it. If I store,
it's like
say $100,000 in the bank, I'm gonna lose money.
Yeah. But again, I don't know. I have some Satoshis of Bitcoin, not a full Bitcoin, but I did it so I could be in it and know what it's about and know how to, get something if anything came of it. But I don't know that it's a good play yet, but it wouldn't be bad for, my thought is because of this debt just going out of control, basically, although they've done some things today, it can't be sustained. So what are you going to do then? Bitcoin might be the answer.
What's that?
Bitcoin might be the answer.
All right. Well, you've given
maybe.
You may have made it. This is what you said, and I'm going to try to see if I can say it in 4 sentences because that's the key. All right. The key is this. We cannot trust the government to keep our currency stable. We cannot trust them not to come into your bank account and steal it. That's happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put your money to store it in a bank, they're going to use that money for a lot less than that money's worth. If you put it into a Bitcoin, the government can't get to it without a big fight. And it is going to remain stable as it can be, as far as nobody's going to intentionally go in and weaken it. It might go fluctuate, but it's not going to be because of government manipulation. So it's a great place to store your money until you need it. That right? I'm listening. I'm waiting for the smart guy.
Yeah, I think so. That's my opinion, but I'm no expert. Let's put it that way.
Well,
I'm going to boil it down and say the reason Bitcoin has value and the value has gone up is because there's a demand, there's a limited supply, and there's more people demanding than the rate at which the supply is increasing.
But why are they demanding it?
You have a market for it, and the market is just getting turned up more and more over the long term. And so the value of it keeps going up because of the desirability.
But why is it there's a demand for it? There was a demand for Cabbage Patch Girls at one time, dolls. There's not anymore.
Well, you're pointing out you're pointing out the real defect in cryptocurrencies is if the demand ever dries up, the value will collapse.
Did you think you were going to talk about Cabbage Patch dolls today, Charlotte?
I think that
I'm the first person to compare Cabbage Patch dolls with Bitcoin. All right, Charlotte, what you going to say?
I think I'm completely speaking out of my ear on this one, but I think there is a disdain for banks, and they want to get in a play that's going to that people feel like they're not getting raked over the coals, and they'd rather take a great risk than deal with banks ripping them off with whatever percent they're getting right now.
Well, that, and we're talking about American currency, really. That's what people have disdain for. They don't like the fact that it's a reserve currency.
Right. They don't trust the Federal Reserve.
And the safety in it is there's really, you can mine it, but you can't make anymore. It's all, whatever's there is there.
Yeah, it'll be, and that's when everybody thinks when we're getting closer to that, because mining becomes more and more difficult as you get closer.
Right.
Or it takes more and more energy. So it's not always economical. So
right. That's that calculus idea that it reaches a limit where it's irrelevant and it's not going to happen anymore. Okay, so I get you on that. So what was the legislation that got through the House? It's got to get through the Senate, but got through the House.
Okay, this is interesting. There's three main points to the legislation, and maybe Glenn or somebody could look it up to back me up on it. I think I remember two of them. One of them, the disdain you're talking about, is a ban on a central bank cryptocurrency. Congress is saying, no, we are not going to have the United States crypto dollar. Okay. I think that's what one of them was. The other one was something to do with backing up some light regulations, some basic parameters to support, allegedly, the stablecoin industry. To say, if you're going to be a stable coin, here's some basic parameters you need to have so that people understand what they're getting when they buy into it. I don't remember the third one.
I got the first one. What's the second one again? Try again.
About stable coins.
Yeah, about stable coins.
Also, they
wait. I'm not getting it. Try again.
You don't understand stable coins.
I understand stable coins. Okay. I understand stable coins. I just didn't. First of all, I was still trying.
They were going to try to control stable coins. They have legislation now, basically, and I'm broad stroking this, that says, no, these are the parameters that make a stable coin.
The government's going to say that?
Was that Biden's executive order, which focused on digital asset regulation? Is that what you're talking about?
No, this is new.
That's fine.
It's basically undoing that.
Right. That's what it said. That was one of the key points. It rescinded that executive order.
So they're trying to say that if you're going to call yourself a stablecoin, this is what you have to do to comply?
The basics, the most minimum basics, yes.
I'd have to hear.
If you're going to tout that you're a medical treatment for a disease, then you better darn well prove that you do. That the product does that. That's what they were trying to say. If you're going to say you're a stable coin, here's the minimum things you must be doing.
Anytime you create a barrier, you create a problem. And so my first reaction is I don't like the second one. The first one.
Read it, but read it first, because I may not be interpreting it. It was a drive-by.
Yeah, me too.
This morning.
That's a good point. Anybody that doesn't listen to this podcast regularly needs to know this, that when something's brand new like this, we understand it's, quote, fog of war, as Glenn says. And we understand that it may be something I love when I get to it. But all I'm trying to say is that immediately when I am told that there are some barriers that the government is creating to, quote, protect me, I'm going to say, no, thank you.
The whole overall arching idea behind this cryptocurrency regulation or legislation was to promote a rich, fertile ground for growth of the cryptocurrency industry, and our country blazing the trail for it. So I'm going to say, with that being what was in mind and undoing Biden's overregulation of it, you need to look at the details and find what they were talking about with stable.
Okay, so it sounds like maybe it's what you're saying is possible, and Charlotte brought this up. Okay, so now see what Charlotte's talking about. So Biden, maybe we misunderstood her question. So Biden had this regulation that he was wanting to do that would have been really a killer of crypto, especially stablecoin.
Yeah, that's what it was.
What this is reducing it to its bare minimum.
Yeah, and if you look at it from the point of view of him being the Manchurian candidate, then it was holding us back so that China could take the lead.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And it's to promote innovation. And the whole thing about no central bank digital currency is, think about how much I could control you if it was everything, social credit store in China is what they're using that for.
January 6th on steroids.
Okay, so this is what I would say that it sounds like. It's not deregulate, it's reduce regulate to what he thinks is the minimum, maybe even to get it through. I would prefer deregulate, but if I always applaud reduce regulate. So
it might regulate on the administration for the future administrations what they cannot do to cripple cryptocurrency industry.
Well, the first one, if I got you right, that's saying that we're not going to have a United States stable coin.
Well, we're not going to have a United States dollar digitally.
That's okay. I don't mind.
They won't make it stable. I'm just telling you right now, they will mess with it. Because that's what those bastards do. Sorry, that's what I think.
Yeah, well, the stable
is in the eyes of the beholder.
Mm-hmm. The stable is, to me, a almost a communist way of looking at things. I know they're naming it that way. There's nothing stable about a stable coin. It's just linked to something. It's tied to something, and that means it's not really stable. I've laughed about that with the people talking about the gold standard or whatever. You can't. It means nothing. If the question is your government increasing the money supply? But I know that I personally will not buy a stable coin linked to the dollar on the private market. Now, I won't do it.
I have.
Well, that's fine. And you have money to play with. I don't have. But I'm going to say this, that I would put it in something that maybe was tied to uranium.
Well, or it could be tied to gold. They have them.
Or gold. Yes, that's fine. I'm just talking the U.S. dollar. No way I do that.
There's one for lithium, I think. Yeah.
Now, I will say that I would do it if, in order to make a trade overseas or something, I convert it into crypto, go through XRP, and have it done in a few seconds.
And at a lower cost, by the way. Yeah.
Right. So, yes. And
stable coins are for that, James. Think about it. A Bitcoin, it's going up and down, right?
Right.
It's not stable. Whereas a stable coin you could use to transact through XRP very quickly.
Right. It's short term. And by the way, I sent to that banker guy, doesn't matter, cryptocurrency is going to put you out of business. And you know what his comment was?
What?
No comment.
Because they see it. That's why you've got all these. Look, 3 years ago, they didn't list Bitcoin on the stock market. Now they regularly do. In fact, it's talked about every day what Bitcoin's doing.
Well, Charlotte has a kinfolk who's gotten very wealthy off of that. He hasn't cashed in on it because he's happy with his life, but he could.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but yeah, he could. Wow. He was early.
They announced that the guy that's been looking for a decade in the municipal landfill finally gave up looking for his old hard drive that had $1 billion of Bitcoin on it.
Oh, I remember hearing that story. So that just stays in there forever.
It's gone. Yeah.
Unless he's from California, because they have state legislation.
Yeah, they'll take it.
I don't know how they're going to find it, but they'll take it.
If it has to be on an exchange, I believe, and you have to have not looked at it for 3 years.
All right. That's good stuff. I feel like I got a better feel for it now. If I'm going to put it in long term, if I have money that's long term, some of it probably should go into Bitcoin. That's a good place to put it. I could get it out as long as I don't lose my hard drive. Oh, well, I'm going to do. I put all my stuff in a book that Glenn gave me.
You also need to put it on a cold storage wallet.
I haven't done that because I forgot how to do it. All right, but anyway, so if I'm getting it right, that's where that Bitcoin is it's better than a bank to park your money. Will it go up and down? Yes. Will it scare you? Yes. Should you put all in there? Of course not.
Okay. Wait, Glenn? It better than a bank is in the eye of the beholder.
Well, and the eye of this beholder is I don't trust banks and government to steal my money. I don't trust.
No,
I know that if I put my money,
we don't really own our property. We rent it from the government because of property taxes.
And I also know that if I'm parking my money there, like for cash flow for this office, I'm losing money. They are using my money, and I'm at a loss, and they're at a gain. I know that, and I don't like banks. Now, I'm not mad. I know they serve a purpose. Again, I don't like, to be honest with you, I don't like the idea that there are men walking around with guns with government power to shoot me. But I know I need them. They're necessary. We need people who know how to kill people and break things. They're necessary. So banks are necessary. I'm not cutting the banks. I'm not. All I'm trying to say is that if I had a place better to park it, I would. The problem with it is it fluctuates. That's your
that, and the problem I have with it also is advocates seem to be salesmen of it. And there are some experts, I would call real experts, that actually are in the administration right now helping them write the crypto laws. Anyway, so.
Where do you see it going, Dwayne? Because the thing I really love about this group is Dwayne's been skeptical of its sustainability for a long time.
I think the nature of the risks are changing. So it's becoming less risky for certain vulnerabilities, but other vulnerabilities still exist. So let's just to throw out a scary example. What happens if the sun or a foreign government causes an EMP to wipe out a whole bunch of electricity and electronics? With our dependency on AI, it just makes it more appetizing for a enemy nation to do that to us. And the sun has acted up quite a bit the past month and a half. That's why you're seeing all the earthquakes, volcanoes, and stuff.
Polar shift.
We are, we are vulnerable to that kind of thing. And can you imagine if, let's just say, a third of the nation was without power for a month? What would happen to Bitcoin? I think it would take a big slump, a huge hit.
Okay, here's something. Most of our money is digital now on registries in banks.
And trust me, from personal experience, it can disappear in seconds. They can come in without any type of warrant, without any type of government judge saying you can do this, and they can go to my bank account and the government can take it out at the state level. You know what the federal government can do. I do not trust.
The reverse is true. Those magic dozen computers that Elon found, they may not be able to transfer money either.
That's true. That's true. But I will tell you this.
So if you look at the forces, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want to say that the reason that I'm so very much for private currency is what happened to me. I realized that if I had millions, they could have taken it. They can take it without a judge even signing something. Think about that. You have nothing. Yep. If you have your money in a bank, it's there as long as the government wants you to have it. They'll take it whenever they want it. Go ahead, Glenn. I'm sorry.
I forgot my train of thought. Oh,
that was one of the worst days in my life, guys. It was payday, and they took it out, and I had to go find money and find out. Well, I didn't even know why they took it out. I didn't even know they were thinking about taking it out, and I had to go find money to pay my people that day. And if you have cash in a bank, trust me, they can take it without a judge signing a thing. And so anything's better than that.
That's why you can use stablecoin crypto.
Yeah, that's why we will use it. We'll use something. I would study it, but I trust that there are businessmen out there that their reputation of keeping it pure is going to be more of a motive than the government or banks keep it secure.
Well, okay. Go ahead, Dwayne. Sorry. I keep stepping on everybody.
Sorry, I'm on a little bit of a delay. Do you think the Clintons will create their own crypto and call it cattle futures or something?
Well, Trump has.
Glad you were interrupted for that. Go ahead.
All right. Well, here's the thing about, electronics, all that. There is so much energy to keep the electronic infrastructure up because that's what the bad guys even use it, right? So if you're thinking about that, their biggest thing the Biden administration was saying is that crypto's anonymous. It's only for nefarious means, right? Which is not true. Also, there are ways to trace down to at least the wallet area, but it is very difficult to take it without the 23 password seed phrase.
They would have to get some type of government, some type of court sanction to try to make me open it up for them.
Also, that was what the Biden administration was doing. They wanted it so they had access to it anytime they wanted. They wanted a back door.
To do what they did to me. And I'm telling, hey, by the way, that was 2 decades ago. It's been a long time that it happened. And from that point on, I have never thought that money is mine. It's theirs. They can take it whenever they want.
Go ahead, Dwayne. We lost him.
I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Talking about keeping the power up, I was driving across the country and I was getting close to, I think it was Mobile, and I saw something. I don't remember if it was on the Mississippi or the Alabama side. It was in the middle of nowhere. I turned the wrong way off of the interstate on purpose to go find a restaurant that advertised on the side of the interstate. And I passed up where I needed to turn on this country road to a different road. And I went an extra 5 miles. And I passed a little area that was locked up with a fence that had these giant lowboy trailers with way more wheels than you've ever seen, with these massive transformers on them. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this those 23? There wasn't 23 there. There was probably a half a dozen. But those 23 magic transformers that are in the U.S., that if we ever lose them, we will be without power for over a year while they're being remanufactured.
Oh.
So it looked to me like there was a storage there of some of those type of transformers. and I thought to myself, I think something's going on, because I've also seen a lot of coal on the railroad.
Yeah.
That's been going east-west. It's been traveling from the west to the east. Coal that I've never seen traveling on these train tracks before. So there's something going on with energy at the national level that's not in the news.
Yeah, they're going to have to run out the clock on this thing. I really mean that. I think that there's probably nobody advertising, if they don't have to, that they need this coal or whatever. So I agree with you, but they're going to run out the clock till we get the nukes up. I do not think that we are even close to in a large scale use solar. We can use it on a small scale, but we're not going to be able to use it on a large scale. I really think that solar is going to become more of similar to Starlink. You have thousands and thousands of satellites that can do the job one at a time. It would depend on which one you have. I think that we're going to have a lot of people are going to do like Glenn is and start putting in solar, but I don't think in a big way where you're able to reliably keep AI going. Solar is not the answer. There's only one answer, guys. It's nuclear. That's it.
Or some you haven't expected.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that technology in Germany on the replacing the internal combustion engine. I'm interested in that. At this point, they say they're driving around in them.
Maybe not.
They're lying to us. I think it could be a lie. I knew that.
It come back to me when you were talking about keeping your money privatized money instead of government money for control purposes. I thought, well, that will work until we find out that the CIA is actually running
pumping it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And find out that they actually own Coinbase.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Or Kraken or all of them.
Well, yeah, the way I see it is that if I ever have, and I think someday I will, enough that where I need to start storing money because I'm too old to really want to put it maybe into something risky in the stock market anyway. But anyway, I'm going to disperse it. I'm not going to put it in one spot. I'm going to do, Glenn's given me excellent tools to be able to do that. And that's what I'm going to do. And they can't control all of them, I don't think. And if they do, well, okay, at some point.
Well, if they do, then you need bullets. That's all I'm saying.
By the way, did you see the rescission bill pass the Senate? It's going back to the House.
Yeah.
Get them to approve it. And
that's
so a whole bunch of the USAID and NPR, PBS, all of that money's being yanked.
I'm going to pat ourselves on the back on that one. When you brought that rescission thing up, we figured out what Trump was doing. Get the big ass budget bill passed, and then we'll start doing individual rescissions. Because if you do it that way, you can say, yeah, we don't want that. You can go, yeah, we don't want that. We don't want to give condoms to people on the Gaza Strip. No, we'll cut that.
No, it was the one they canceled with this rescission bill. One of them was lighting in third world countries so people could walk around at night.
Yeah. People, we're good. The United States citizens are going to be all for that. We're all struggling to survive, and you're getting lighting.
Yeah, how do you argue against it? Basically,
right. We called it. We did as a group. I don't know. I think that once you guys explained how that I never heard of it. It's almost
Wayne
like
explained it to us all. Yeah,
all it is. It's the line item veto, but it takes the Congress and president. But if done right, you're going to get it rescinded.
But they could do it on a 50% plus one vote.
Yeah.
Right. And there's no Republican can stand up and say, "Oh, I'm going to be for that." Oh, I'm for
that. We had two in the Senate.
Well, again, keep in mind that they play that game. You can vote however you want if we don't need you on this one. But when they need somebody, they get them. All right. I don't want, we're going to run out of time, and I want to talk about this because I personally have yet to get a LA wallet. And I'm going to give you my silly reason. Again, it's my practice. I know I have to give up some of my freedoms and my privacy more than that. I got to give up some of my privacy if I get on a computer. I got to give up some of my privacy if I drive down the road. I got to give up my privacy if I go to a restaurant and use my credit card. But this is what I'm saying. I don't give up anything that I don't have to. I'd say I'm not giving that up. I'm keeping my privacy on that. So I found out that if the police officer stops you and he thinks he has cause to look at your phone, he can make you use your Face ID, your facial recognition, to open your phone if that's what you're using, okay? And he can make you do that. But he can't make you give a security number or a passcode. He can't do that. He's got to get a warrant for that. And so I don't use facial recognition for anything. I never give my face. I know they've got it, but I won't. But I will say that no, I did not give up that right. This wallet thing.
By the way, all you got to do is close your eyes.
Really?
Yeah. It measures distance in your eyes. That's how it does it.
Okay, I didn't know that. So, but anyway, that's cool. That's a good safety tip. So anyway, this Louisiana, what is it called? I said it just a second ago. Wallet. The thing I don't like about that is I'd have to open my computer to show him my driver's license, and the phone's a computer, and he's got it. He's in. I just don't want to give up that right. I'm going to keep a hard copy. Is that going to be that's still going to be an option, right?
Yeah, it's just an option. Some people get caught without their driver's license, and they can use their phone to prove who they are.
Yeah, I've got stopped in a speed trap in South Louisiana. Where they do the pies, LeCompte, and I guess it's Central. Anyway, I had forgotten my license that day, and I said, here's my bar association card. I'm legit. I'm not driving. I just don't have it. He says, you're a lawyer. You may go.
Here's the thing that I'm going to say. Louisiana is on the cutting edge. That LA wallet has been around for quite a few years.
It has.
And they designed it so well. It's so well thought out, and the security and the control of it, that even at the airports, what is it called? The federal government screens at the TSA is going to approve or has approved LA wallet for your ID at federal airports.
Yep. That's cool, but I'm just not getting one yet. I am getting ready to go get my real ID though. I will probably after this trial is either settled or we had the trial. Charles, do you have anything you want to talk about before we go? Because we're not done yet. We should be in the lightning round. All right. Let's do this.
Your voter integrity. Did you see that Donald Trump issued an executive order telling the federal government to share the databases with the states so that they can check for voter fraud by non-citizens voting in federal elections? Texas has began using that and filtering through, and they found hundreds of potential voter fraud.
All right. So, and I'm all for it. I'm all for doing this. How are we going to stop the next communist regime from doing it, going right back to it, and they never win another election, keeping them from ever getting elected?
Scaring the crap out of people by prosecuting the ones that have done it in the past and getting the word out so people are in fear of voting fraudulently.
There's a listener that probably one of our most loyal listeners texted me last night, concerned about some of these things. Not concerned. Believe me, he's brilliant. He has his own opinion, but he's one of those who's on this Epstein thing, and I want to cover it real quick because it's lightning round. This Epstein thing, I feel like I was duped. I feel like that this was like Glenn says that happens to private individuals. They were able to dupe all of us into thinking that this Epstein thing was a bigger deal than it was. And I told Charlotte last night after talking to this guy that it occurred to me we've been duped, that there aren't nearly as many perverts out there as they're trying to make it sound like, and that the whole Washington, D.C. is not risking their career to fly on a plane to an island so they can diddle little boys and girls. The more I sit there and think about it, we were duped. It's a stupid theory. There's no way. They duped us. Comey, Brennan, all of them put that crap out there, made us think it was something, and they're using it now. The Democrats want it released. You know why? They don't want it released. They know we were duped. That's what I
released it for 4 years.
Do you think it was another form of an insurance plan that they thought they were going to get rid of people by making it look like they were on that list and ruining their reputations?
I think there were. All right, I'm not sure your question. Let me see if I got it. Oh, no, ask it again. Let me make sure I got it.
So the Russia hoax was created from whole cloth. There was zero credibility of anything concerning the Trump-Russia hoax.
Correct.
Do you think that they took the Epstein entire story and said, we can turn this into a way to threaten people or to ruin their reputation and make it look like they were on an Epstein client list?
Yes, that could be it. But I'm going to say, that they were using it. You're right. They were using it to. I don't know. I don't really know. In some ways, no. In some ways, I don't think that's it. In some ways, I think it was a diversion. I think it was just what Glenn has always said happens to private individuals like Lynn Wood, that they lead them off. They say, hey, you've got some knowledge here, and we got to tell you this. And I think that they had this out there floating out there. So all of us, including me, were duped. And it's not easy to dupe me on these things, but I think I was duped. I really, truly believe that this thing was never a big deal. It was a pervert that was guilty of it. And he did have people like Clinton on there. Maybe they're protecting one or two of those people. But by and large,
they fired Comey's daughter from the DOJ. She was a prosecutor, and she was involved in the Diddy case, and she was involved in the Epstein case.
I saw that. Is that because of her uselessness is done? Or is it because you see, I knew she did that. I knew that was the prosecutor of Epstein too. And I said it was brilliant how they did that. They kept the government out. That was, you know what I'm saying? We're going to focus solely on what did Epstein do. They didn't focus on anything else. Well, if you're a prosecutor, whether I like Comey or not, that's really what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to prosecute the crime. You're not supposed to try to expose other people. That's a whole nother investigation. The purpose of that trial is to put Epstein in jail, and she did it. And she put Ghislaine in jail. And so my point I make, so what do you think the significance that I did see she was fired? What do you think the significance of that?
There's an intersection, but we don't know the details.
I think that part of the whole Epstein charade was to undermine the American public's confidence in the government and its elected leaders or appointed leaders. So if we were looking with askance at everything Roberts did on the Supreme Court, for instance. So there is part of the way you topple a government is you can't just go in and topple a government. You have to have American support behind it.
Lose faith in it.
Yeah, lose faith in it. So and it's very easy this was a topic that was very easy to get everybody behind, whether you were liberal or conservative. Nobody wants children abused. And so it was brilliant in that regard because we all felt like there was a boogeyman behind every politician.
Yep.
That they were all involved in it somehow or another. I mean, and I got caught up in it, just thinking they're all.
It was too perfect. And that's Glenn's theory. If it's too perfect, it's probably not true.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I think. I think there's a modicum of truth to it. I'm not saying that there's not some part of it that's not true, but I think this Pizzagate and all this stuff, the more I sat there and pondered this last night, the more I realized, I've been duped. And one of the things you've got to do as a lawyer is when you realize you've been duped, you got to stop it. And so that's easy for me to go, well, you know what? I'm going to admit it to everybody. I was duped. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to tell you right now that I am going to trust Trump on it again. And the reason I am is I can't think of a president since Thomas Jefferson that's gotten more done than Trump has. And I'm not going to derail this presidency when he's given us an explanation. That it was Comey and those guys that did this, and that it's a complete and total mess. And what we need to do is focus on election reform. We need to focus on other things. Why they fired Comey? I'm surprised they didn't do it for a long time ago because she anything that's being said in the offices is going straight to her father, and they're getting ready to prosecute him. They had to get her out of there. That's why I think she's gone. She doesn't need to be in the DOJ with access to when they're going after her father, don't you think?
Yep.
I agree.
That would be why I think it happened. And I think it's significant. That was a significant thing. If I were Brendan Comey, maybe even Obama, I would be a bit concerned.
We're talking about Jill and Joe may be questioned next.
Well, Joe, that's useless. That's absolutely
He's
useless.
got plausible deniability there with stage 5 dementia.
I want to say this. If I've said it on the podcast when Charlotte's not here. Charlotte's probing questions at breakfast table, not probing, just what do we call it? Just almost like they flow out. These questions that she has, they get me to thinking, and she does a very good job of that. How do you feel about Epstein now? What do you think? What is your theory now, Charlotte? Just your gut reaction. Do you think it was as deep as everybody thought it was, or do you think it was?
I think it's another Steele dossier by and large. I think there was some truth there, and that what Epstein and Ghislaine was doing was horrible, and there may be some real creepy people like Bill Clinton that were actually indulging, but I think you muddy that water to where you really don't know what the truth is. And so even all that weird stuff about Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin, you think, oh, well, they just made up a bunch of trash. And so it even clears them to a certain extent when you find out how it was sensationalized, if that makes sense.
It does. I think I get you. They take something that's real. Clinton and Andrews probably did go there and did bad, naughty things. But I'll bet you hundreds and hundreds of people went to that island because it's beautiful. They went swimming. No kids involved at all. And so I think that should he release it? I don't like secrets, but I'm going to trust his timing on what he's going to do with it. And I do think a special prosecutor's where to go.
I'm sure there was probably secrets, but it wasn't the naughty, salacious kind. It was more of, hey, we can speak frankly here about what we're doing, the dastardly deeds we're doing in the government as far as communism, the spread of communism. Does that make sense? I mean, there were things, but it wasn't, it was more, hey, this is a place where we can go and we can speak freely and we don't have to worry about being recorded.
Well, Trump laid down the line. You may have been my supporter, but if you continue to try to break up my administration over this Epstein issue, I don't want your support. He said that.
Yep. Snap out of it. It's not the priority right now.
It was like when I realized that it could have been a hoax, and I started using the Glenn Cox approach of is it something that plays on people's emotion? Is it too convenient? It fits all of the Glenn Cox's, and I think he got it a lot from Scott Adams, but it fits that. It fits that. This was too convenient. Pizzagate, too convenient. All of this stuff was coming from the blob, and they got us all worked up knowing that it was all manufactured, that it was a Steele dossier, Charlotte said, and that we've been duped. It's time for us to say we've been duped, admit it, and move on. You got to put your back.
I know.
I would rather you put it up there in a second.
No more Conspiracy Friday.
Well, if that's the conspiracy, was where we do. All right, so that's that one. All right, real quick, guys. I tried to bring this up and Mark diverted it, and I knew he was short time. I am concerned about two areas we have not discussed. And the first one was I tried to get him to let Dwayne tell me that I won't be mowing the lawn much longer. Dwayne?
Yeah, the lawnmowers are developing like on a weekly and monthly basis. They're moving and changing quickly. And
now the one you sent me, that one's a remote control, right? Or was that a self?
I think it had kind of a Roomba AI engine in it.
And that was $4,000. That's no more. It's barely more expensive.
Kinds of attachments.
Yeah, it's the first one I saw with the weed eater. All right, so here's the thing: weed eating is not that big a deal, except around chain link fences, and you'll use up all of your string in a few minutes on a chain link fence. If that thing could do a chain link fence, I want one today.
Yeah, it had a seed spreader. I forget what all the attachments were.
But it was like $5,000.
Yeah, but it could also do, what was it, 6 acres?
Yes. And I've got 5.5 that I maintain. We have 35, but we don't maintain but 5 of it. Well, yeah, I would want one. And see, here's my thing is if it does what I think it will do, it's just lopping off the top of the grass. And so it looked like all the time you had freshly cut grass.
Yep. When they lift up and let you look underneath, the blades were really small, and it was 2 of them that turned in opposite directions. The hub of the blade was really big, but the blades on the ends of it were small. So yeah, it was just nibbling the tops of the grass.
And it could do it all night long. Charge, mow, charge, mow.
Yep.
I have a feeling we're going to have lawnmowers before you have dishwashers.
And I think it's real quiet, and it had Caterpillar rubber tractor wheels.
Yeah, that was a big problem with the one Glenn sent me. There was a review of several different types, and they were getting stuck. I don't think this one's going to get stuck.
Nope.
I don't think it's going to track the yard either, because it's such because it's like a tank. So anyway, it's moving on. I will get one when I think that they're definitely reliable, and I don't know, 5,000 is really not that expensive for what it did. Be honest with you, you think about what it, how long your time and whatnot. So I guess my question is, are they going to be putting lawnmower people out of business? Or are they going to be some people who just keep wanting to mow?
I don't know. We'll see.
I think they're going to put lawn mowing for businesses out of business, because generally they charge so much more for weekly landscape and lawn mowing for businesses.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, so the last topic, real quick. This is for Glenn. I get, because you apparently read the article. There's a defense contractor says he can knock out drones.
2, actually.
All right, and how they doing it?
One is microwave energy directional. It's kind of like a big shotgun kind of approach that fries the insides. Another one is by Anduril that is portable for a soldier. He can carry it with him. And drone swarm comes, he pushes a button, and it sends out some kind of pulse that knocks all the drones out of the sky.
All right, so this is that one is the one that interests me. But they both do, but one is this. I don't want to put ideas into a terrorist's mind. They already are crooked. I mean, not crooked. They're already weird. But I've said that plane that went down in New York, that he landed in the Hudson. Everybody but me can remember that pilot's name. I don't see why you couldn't swarm little drones to do the exact same thing those birds did. And it would be great if at the end of the runway you could have something constantly there that's knocking down drones. But is it going to mess with and I guess it's a question for Dwayne, is this going to mess with the plane itself and its navigation systems?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, if you talk about the microwave, you can transfer energy wirelessly with microwaves. So let's say you got an array of solar panels in orbit, and you got a battery, and it's charging it up, and you want to transfer that energy down to the ground. You could create a concentrated microwave beam that comes down to the ground in a receiver site on the ground that receives the microwave energy and converts it to more normal AC power. So that is one way of transferring the energy. And just to let you know, laser, LASER, is an acronym. Laser wasn't the first one. The first one was Maser. M stands for microwave. So think of a laser beam, but using microwaves instead. And that's how you can transfer energy to components that weren't meant to have extra energy added to it. And that's how you fry the inside of electronics, like the electronics on a drone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You can't hurt an airplane by trying to do the same thing, but they're probably going to have to harden the aircraft from that.
All right. So I could picture this now that they have something like that. I could see, because right now, there aren't they even have mosquito level or maybe mosquito hawk level drones? And
well, yeah. Also, China apparently has put some kind of controller in a bee so they can move it around like a drone.
All right. And so I would expect that at high level things like generals or whatever preparing for an attack or something like that, that you would zap a room to kill any possibility that there's that type of a drone in there. You couldn't have any computers, I would take it. I'm assuming that it's not going to be discretionary, but you would go zap that room before you started the go. You got to go?
Yeah, I've got to make this call. But anyway.
Well, let's go. You know, anytime you want to stop it, you stop it. Listen, we are quitting. You got to talk about, if you got time, give us the PJ's coffee or I'll get Dwayne to it.
I'll do it real quick. I think we've talked about wonderfully very interesting issues all day here today. Glad Charlotte and Dwayne and Mark were all on. But if you want delicious coffee, wonderful pastries, boosted tea, all natural Red Bull, of course, any kind of cold brew coffee drink you can ever think of, you'll get over to the PJ's Coffee in Houghton, Louisiana, right off exit 33 in the great state of Louisiana. Drive in there, get your delicious coffee, some pastry. If you want to take it up to a notch I cannot describe, you'll get some Second Round Bakery cookies from secondroundbakery.com delivered fresh to your door the week they are cooked. And they're made with love, so you only need one of those big, delicious chocolate chip cookies. You'll take a sleeve with you to the PJs, sit down, make 5 friends, meet 5 friends, and talk about these issues further and ask, give us your criticisms, your comments, your thoughts for other things you'd like us to talk about, and send them to podcast@thejamesperspective.com. Podcast@thejamesperspective.com. We would absolutely love to hear from you.
Same here. Thank you guys for listening. Den's got to go, and we're going to let him go. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't know if we'll have a conspiracy or something else. We'll have a podcast tomorrow.
That's right.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
This copyrighted podcast of The James Perspective has been paid for and funded by James M. Wilkerson. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of this podcast are a permutation and combination of words and sentences used in this podcast without the express written consent of James M. Wilkerson and The James Perspective is strictly prohibited.